Mello.
Here.
You do have a quorum. We also have Mr. Mustis and Mr. Brooks.
Outstanding. Jim, why don't you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First thing on the agenda is the update from the Will County Public Safety Delivery Team, Leopardo, DLR, and Farnsworth Group. Well, we could approve those later. No, I'm just kidding. We have minutes from the August 1st, 2007.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now the update from the Will County Public Safety Complex and Delivery Team, Leopardo, DLR, and Farnsworth Group. Come on up.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Capital Committee members, good morning. I'd like to mention, before we begin with the overview and summary, that we're not going to be joined by Farnsworth Group this morning. We've got a commissioning training exercise going on at the site right now. I felt it was far more important for our folks to be out there with that.
Good morning.
And so Nicole's back, and the timing couldn't be better. And we're approaching the final stretch here, and we welcome her back. And having said that, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Are you sleeping?
No. We have an 8-week-old and a 2-year-old. So no. I was happy to come back. All right, well, I wanted to give everyone an update on where we're at as of August 15th. So we're working on the August bill right now. The substantial completion date, just to remind everyone, was 3/19, and we're on track for 12/27. It is not moving, and we're in good shape with that. Part of the turnover to help the Area A call center is we are turning over Area A call center on 9/1. That is not for operational. That is purely just so they can start to move the councils in. So that whole process is going to take a long time from start to finish. There's a lot of vendors that they need. There's the councils itself that will take a while. So in order for them to meet the substantial for the main building, they needed to move in at least 4 months prior to that. So we're well on our way with that. We're going to start test and balance next week. We're going to then roll into commissioning, which Farnsworth has been in our meetings, and they're going to work on that. So they're well up to speed, and we're looking to turn it over on September 1. So we're in really good shape with that. We'll do the punch list next week as well. So we're in really good shape. So that's the main things going on with Area A. Area B right now, I mean, the exterior is on the front and the back and all sides. The roof is all done, so we have very few things that need to be finished. We're mainly focusing on the site right now. That's the main push right now, and then the additional work that we were given, which is the deceleration lane, the impound lot, and then what we call Phase 2A, which is next to the existing facility, getting that site work done. So that's the main push right now, and it's in good shape as well. So that's worked out really well for us. In the next 2 weeks, we're gonna finish the fiber cement panels, some of the coping, and continue with the radio tower and the additional work, and also start working on the SWAT building. So SWAT update is we have received drawings. We're working on just the final cost of it. I know we submitted a budget, but we're working on the final cost of it. Permit is in. It was submitted in 2 separate permits, so that way we can start the site as soon as possible, so we can still take advantage of this weather, because that was the main thing that we needed. So we're working on that, and then from there we'll just start with our finishes. We'll continue on with our finishes, and we're looking forward to the tour today.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? Anything? You want to add anything?
Just want to say that we welcome everyone today to the site. I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised with what's been accomplished in essentially less than 1 year, if you think about it.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, one of the things, is if you look at the original completion date, it was supposed to be in March of next year. And this board and this committee really took the actions to make sure that we could push that timeline. And you guys have done an outstanding job making that happen. You know, barring any unforeseen craziness with the weather or anything, we're going to hit those dates early and keep the courthouse on schedule. You know, we don't want to push one project into the other, and that's a domino effect. So I think you guys have done a great job. I think this subcommittee has done a great job, and I really appreciate all the hard work. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if we,
Want to jump? Okay, we'll
If
go
you
to
don't
new
mind.
business.
Oh, I
No,
didn't.
not a
Sorry.
problem. So we're gonna jump over to new business if no one has an objection. It's regarding authorizing the Will County Executive to execute a change order for replacement for existing storm sewer structures and associated piping north of the firing range prior to resurfacing existing surface parking lot. So you want to discuss that, or?
yes, I'm sorry.
And we have a motion. Does anyone want to make a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. This change.
What you're,
Go ahead.
what we're, and this is in your packet, I felt it was important that we put it up on the screen and that we run through it together as a group here. The area that is impacted is on the existing site. It has nothing to do with the drainage, the new drainage in the new building to the west of the property. It is a part of the Phase 2 work, which included some curb and gutter, some resurfacing, some site drainage, et cetera, and so forth. And we encountered a situation there you go. We encountered a situation which is outlined by the red cloud there, okay, where we had two existing storm sewer structures that had been placed there some time ago. We don't know when, but they were filled with muck and debris, and aside from that, were not tied in to allow, with piping, to allow the stormwater to drain out. So we were getting a flooding condition back there, and we didn't feel, even though it wasn't in the scope, we didn't feel that leaving it in its current state was the responsible thing to do. And so we asked our architect and our engineer and our construction manager to look at this and come up with a fix for it in the most economical way. And so I bring this forward today in accordance with our change order policy.
It's over
And
20,000.
I'd ask you to consider it, and if you would you go to the next thing and just kind of go through the scope?
So the total would be roughly the 38,433. We obviously have to dig that area to allow for the utility and then to pave over it with the landscaping. So that's roughly what you're seeing is those trades to make the changes to the drainage of it.
Mike, you had a question?
Yeah, so we don't know when this was in, and we only found this issue because of the issue. Are we doing any other survey of the rest of the land to see if we have any other drainage areas that we don't know when they were in or what they are, to just do a double check and say, hey, maybe we need to fix this one too, so we're doing it all at once? I mean, I realize this one only came up because of the flooding issue. But are we checking the other drainage areas that we have just to making sure those were all clear and there aren't any issues? Because if we're going to do something, we should do it all at once.
The rest, the balance of the site is either engineered for new storm
Okay.
water
structures and piping that would tie into our retention pond, or that it's already been tied in on, on phase 2 by the existing waterway and was seen to have no problems. Right. So to not do something back here would have just created problems.
No, right, I get that.
We had
Make
ice.
sure we're not missing something else.
No, I get your point. I believe that we're in good shape.
There's very few, only on the one side where you have the existing building is any of the existing surfaces. So everywhere else is new pavement, new concrete, which is part of the surveying and the design of it. It's just in this particular location, you can see to the south of this picture, or sorry, to the bottom of this picture, you can see that in this area is outside the scope of work. So it's existing asphalt that was remaining. So in order to do that, but other than that, it's all new pavement.
Okay.
Chuck?
That's new pavement going, the current drainage, is that a ditch? Is there piping through there? And it's just sitting there in the middle of nowhere?
No, so there,
Yeah.
no, we're milling, which is basically taking up a surface of the existing asphalt and putting a new, call it surface on top of it. So for lack of a better term, the structural stays there, but then to make it look and match and look nice to everything else, it's more economical to do this. So it's the existing that's staying, but it is asphalt there, but it's just existing asphalt.
So what are you gonna do? You're gonna put drainage tiles underneath?
They're draining, they're showing to drain from that existing. So at the top of that hatch, they're adding pipe to drain that existing asphalt and a better drainage to go into that riprap that you see over there. So it's not ponding, and they're relocating the water, if you will, to the right side of that drawing where it says riprap. So that way you're not getting that ponding anymore.
If I may,
So what was in the original scope versus where we're at now?
this was not included in the
No,
original.
where is the original scope?
The original scope ends here. Okay? There are 2 existing manholes, storm sewer structures that are, this area was essentially the limit of the phase 2 work.
Sorry.
Okay?
Yeah. So
And,
some of this that's drawn in red is in our current scope.
No, this is the current
You
scope,
said
this
This
line.
is the current scope?
Yes.
partially, yes.
Okay, so that's, and that's how you found out that
Yes.
this was going on, by taking that
When they
up?
tied into it and the water wasn't draining.
One of the existing structures you can see exists, right? So that's when we were doing the work here, within the scope, we ran into a structure that was clogged and not tied into anything. Further investigation showed that the existing structure to the south was the same thing. So in order to rectify the situation, we need 2 new structures and piping. So one structure here, and then piping that'll come around and underneath and drain over to here, which then takes it out back to the wetlands.
We're going out there, you can take a look.
Yeah.
I mean, it's open.
At 11 o'clock.
And we're gonna vote here on whether we pay for it. Well, we're voting here whether we pay for
We
it.
have a motion
Vote
and a
now
second.
and then just see it
Right.
later.
Hey, Congress does that all the time. And then vote and then, anyway. So
That's why we passed it better than
So the
Congress.
reality is, we have a motion and a second, just so you know, obviously, we know as a committee, the project is on time, it's under budget. Even with this additional 38,000, we will still be under budget. I hesitate to talk about the numbers until the project's closer or getting to the end. However, this will not hurt us from a budget standpoint. So we have a motion and a second. Is any other discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Oh, did you hear the voice on that one?
Thank you very much. We're going to go back to the update now on the courthouse, Whitefield, Bain, and Farnsworth.
Pretended his ear
That would be hard.
Right?
It's not Dave's there.
All right. See everyone at 11.
Stretching it out, Jason, so you couldn't you're not gonna get a break.
I was running a couple minutes late, so thanks.
Morning.
Morning.
How's everybody doing? Good. Did you have anything you want to start out? You want me to okay. I've got a light update again this meeting, so that's probably good news for you. I think at our last meeting we talked about, we had a follow-up that same week. We were actually taking all the permit documents into the city. So we did that. City, I'll say, kind of rolled out the red carpet for us in a sense where they brought in all their reviewers, which was very nice. All the key reviewers sat with us. We probably spent about three and a half hours with them doing a page turn, discipline by discipline, to start actually doing the permits submittal review, which is fantastic. They've been great to work with through the process. We've had multiple meetings with them as we prepared the design, and this was great to get all the reviewers starting to look at the drawings and moving things forward. So successful there. They obviously, it's a huge set of documents, so they've got more work to do, but they've taken all the drawings, and you know, if they need additional information, we'll provide it to them, but they're going to keep moving forward with their permit review. We had a pretty good discussion about overall schedule for that review, and you know, it's coming, our documents being prepared in packages that are tied to bidding. So they said they'll work with us as needed on, you know, if we want to get an early partial permit for doing the foundation work and that coincides with the construction schedule. So right now, I don't really have any concerns about the permitting process and timing. So we'll just keep working with the city to make sure that all gets wrapped up. We were also able to sort of separately participate in a demo. The courts put together, brought in a vendor that did a little demo on court technology. There's a sort of self-contained system that's just another option for some technology in the courthouse. We have a design that's already been completed in terms of overall technology in the courtrooms, but this would be another option, or you know, if there's a scenario where they want more of a, I'll call it a portable option to bring advanced technology into various courtrooms. So no real decision made, but it just continuing to look at more details and you know, ways to make sure that we're making the courthouses technology rich as we can to be prepared for the future. Just want an update on that. Next big thing for us on a schedule standpoint is August 25th, next Friday. We have another bid document issuance. That will be bid group 2. Tom will probably talk a little bit about specific packages that are going into that, but the first package, as you know, went out to elevators, vertical transport, elevator, escalator. Those bids were opened. There's a review process going on. But this next package has a number of key trades in it, and we're on track to make that submittal. Then our final issuance will be September 22nd. Documents to Gilbane that they actually then will stage out in 2 separate issuances for the remainder of the work. So that's all I've got really from a schedule, next steps. Everything's on track. No major issues right now from a design perspective. Question?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird question, but we're probably a year to year and a half way to the technology, and I know there may be some maybe by then. What happens if there is a change in technology that's way better? We have the ability to kind of make changes a year down the road if something latest and greatest comes out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, right now, we're defining it based on, what we know in terms of equipment. I mean, it's probably, there's a potential that wiring could change, that's not going to be, monumental. All the primary infrastructure in terms of, my phone's off. All the primary infrastructure, your fiber cabling and main copper cabling, we're looking at the latest and greatest out there right now. Some of that may come down to a bidding strategy. It might be something that we want to talk about a little bit from a bid perspective. We need to get that work bid out because there's, a lot of coordination needs to happen. But, maybe there's some options to look at, because conceivably we might bid a piece of equipment, a sound mixer or some piece like that, and they might not even make it by the time they're ready to, install that piece of equipment. So I think that might be something that we want to document in the bids to make sure that there's a little bit of latitude, or, it's that, or current version of that piece of equipment, so that we know we're getting, the best equipment and it's all, seamless.
Cool.
Good question.
Any other questions for Jason?
Morning. Wanted to make sure that we mention our next outreach event, which is going to be a week from tomorrow, Wednesday the 23rd at the Pipe Fitters Hall, Local 597 at 5:30 again. We had a fair turnout last time at the Electricians Hall, so We're calling guys again, still talking up particularly design release 2, as Jason alluded to. He'll give us those drawings 8/25, and then we'll put those out to bid on 9/6. So right now we're concentrating on calling the first group of bidders for the steel, concrete, excavation, missed metals, demolition, of course, and site utilities. So we're really ramped it up, and have tried to follow up a lot of the outreach conversations and discussions we've had with the contractors from the first 2 outreach meetings, going back to May 3rd, I think, and then, of course, 7/26. So the 23rd will be the last one we have, unless, I guess, we decide that we need to do something else as we maybe get closer to the issuance of the last 2 packages for bid that Jason alluded to. We'll get those drawings for on 9/22. We're going to go out to bid for the 3rd design release on 10/10, and then the 4th one will be issued on January 10th, I think. So we've got a little time to decide if we wanted to do another outreach, and we certainly will do that if there's interest or a desire to do that. Last week, the 3rd, or I should say 2 weeks ago, the 3rd, we had a big day, and we talked about that a little bit going into it. As Jason said, we had our permit intake meeting there. We also took the bids for the first package, the elevator package. Got 2 bids. We had 4 bidders that we had discussed with and had talked to. 3 came to the bid, the pre-bid meeting, I should say. And then we got 2 bids, one from Otis, 5.9 million, and then the second low bidder, the low bidder was from Schindler at 4.9 million. I think our estimate was in there at like 5.6. So we scope reviewed. We brought Schindler into our offices last Friday on the 11th, went through their bid with them, went through their scope of work. With those elevator guys, there's always issues with their indemnification, their contracts, waivers of subrogation, all that stuff. Even though we've got national agreements with most of these guys, we're still working through it, and I don't see any big issues at all. So we're just finalizing that with them. I think the intent is to get everything resolved so that we can get Dave a recommendation to award here at the end of this month, and then bring it to the CIC for approval at the 9/5 meeting, I think. So that's what we're on track for right now, and I don't see any problem why that wouldn't happen. We've also got we're in the process of doing our bid pack estimates too for the second design release for those 6 packages that I alluded to now. We've started them based on the 727 set of permit documents, and then when we get the 825 issued for bid documents, we'll go back through, take one last look at those, and then give Dave the final estimates for construction on that based on what we see on the issue for bid documents. Utility reloads is really going along, I think, not bad, I guess I should say. I think AT&T had advised us that they should be out there and potentially starting their work this week. I don't know if, David, you've seen anything else. I know you've been in contact with them too, but they're saying that they potentially could be there today or tomorrow to start the installation of the new manholes down there along the southeast part of the site, and then running west along the south, along Washington Street. So that's nice to see. That's always a concern, and we continue to stay in touch with NICOR and ComEd, I should say, and track those guys. So that seems to be going along. I think we've had myriad meetings with these guys. Dave Tack has had many discussions with them too, so I think we're really surrounding them, and I think they're starting to respond. And I think that's about it.
We had to relocate it because where it came in underneath the building, so we had to move it. That's what it means.
The question is whether we were running fiber there and how the fiber was being used.
Yeah, well, there'll be, as far as the new truck along the south, yes.
Well, continue to get these favorable estimates. You know, the first one comes in 700,000 low. You're pretty excited, so hopefully we can continue that. We have favorable bidding conditions in the future and keep that trend. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions for Tom?
That's part of it. Just survive the school.
Yeah.
It's still 700,000.
Yep, you're on.
Todd, I want to talk about bid packages. Steel should be one of the ones that will come sooner than later. When do you think you'll do the steel? And the reason I'm asking that, it's nice to hear that our elevator bid came in at estimate or a little below estimate. I'm always concerned about steel, kind of setting the tone for cost, because it is a commodity and it fluctuates so much in the market. And one day it can be $1,000 and the next day it's $1,500. So when would we be ready to do the bid package for steel?
Well, that will go out, and I apologize if I neglected to mention it, that will go out with this first release, or second release, I'm sorry, on 9/6. Yeah. We're looking to start the work in the field. It'll be spring of 18. I think right now we're talking about 1st of May of 18 to actually start steel erection. But that package will go out 9/6, and then the bids will come in the end of September.
It's an important package.
Yeah.
How is the market on steel?
It has fluctuated quite a bit. I mean, you see numbers between $3,500 and then $4,000 a ton for fabricated shapes. It's come down a little bit, but hopefully we're going to hit it while it's down and get it bid so that we take advantage of that now.
Does the volume of the package come into play? I mean, it's not like it's a big job.
Right. It is a big one. As far as we're concerned. Now some of these, I mean, when we did O'Hare, the international terminal, that was 15,000 tons. This is about 215 tons. So, I mean, to put it in perspective, but we've still got the bigger guys. Shop Steel is a very big group.
Job. We had a big job.
Right. But by way of that, though, we're still trying to get the big guys to look at Lejeune, out of Minnesota is looking at it. Shop Steel is out in Kansas. They're looking at it. They took over Haven Steel years ago. And they got a great fab facility out there in Kansas. So, and then Lennox, who has been really hungry and been very responsive. We've had meetings with those guys in our offices with their erection group to talk about how the project will go together, timing, schedule, that kind of thing. So we've had some pretty good interest on it.
So listening to you mention those companies, I'm assuming currently there's still a lot of capacity in the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that place too?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Good point.
Nick, just real quick, are we expecting the IGA to be on the next month's capital? Possibly.
I hope so. I was hoping for this month. I mean, we haven't had the response.
What are you waiting for?
It's not accounting people. It's not accounting people.
Those lawyers. I'm telling you. All right, hopefully we see it on the next month. Get that figured out. Thank you.
Nope, not ours.
No. Any other questions? All right, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda is, we already did number 1. Number 2, authorizing payment to DLR Group for the Will County Public Safety Contract.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to Leopardo Companies Incorporated.
You'll get to
One of those weeks. All in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, motion carries. Authorizing payment to Farnsworth Group for Will County Public Safety Complex. Moved in second, all in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to Nightmare Gas for Will County Public Safety Complex.
Second.
Probably moved in second, all in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to Midwest Environmental Consulting Services for the Will County Public Safety Complex.
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye. Opposed.
an update a little bit on the asbestos removal. Where are we at with that?
You want to talk about where we're at with the asbestos removal?
Certainly. We had the survey completed for all of the properties that were involved either with our projects directly or indirectly involved with respect to real estate transactions. Those properties included the first Midwest building, which is done, and as you know, which has been bid, and there'll be a contract award
before the full county board on the agenda for this Thursday. So we've been taking a proactive approach with respect to getting ahead of that prior to the demolition. And so we also had 121 North Chicago Street surveyed, and there's a lot more asbestos in there than anticipated. We'll probably have to bid that out separately. And then we also have the building, the existing sheriff's facility on Laraway. We also had the survey completed there. I'd like to approach this committee in the future with a potential using a change order for the abatement of that contract, or abatement of that building following the completion of the abatement at First Midwest Bank, so that we kind of dovetail the one into the other. So I thought it was going to be a more complex situation over at Laraway than at 121, but it was just the opposite. The survey revealed that it was just the opposite. So we'll bid 121 out separately and proceed with the approval of this committee with the existing Laraway building after completion of First Midwest Bank. So,
Assuming approval next week, how soon will they start at Midwest on that 4th floor?
they can start, we want to get them to start phase one, which includes the 4th floor and the basement. The 4th floor has been completely cleaned out and it's ready to go. And the basement is ready as well. So we're going to set that up. Each area will require a separate containment. So, my initial plan was to schedule the work so that they could go from the 4th floor in the basement, which is phase one, vacate the rest of the building, and then they could go 1, 2, 3.
So they're on, yeah. They're just
Right,
starting,
and we're going to try to.
they're there till they finish.
Right, we're going to try to make that happen, but I feel better if we got 4th floor and basement done sooner, and if they have to come back, so be it, because they have to contain anyway, so
Right,
it's...
they run into an issue and it's a little longer than they thought.
Right.
And that slows up everything else.
So we're going to try to get, after the award, I was hesitant to bring them in and talk about any kind of scheduling until the official award on the 17th, so.
And make it to our advantage, not theirs.
Excellent, thank you. Lana, when Chuck jumped in, did we get the motion on, and then the final vote on 6?
Motion and a second.
Okay. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next on the agenda is authorizing payment to the City of Joliet for the Will County Public Safety Complex.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to Graybar for the Will County Public Safety Complex.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to CDW for the Will County Public Safety Complex. Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to ComEd for the Will County Public Safety Complex.
Second.
Properly moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to White Company for Will County Courthouse.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to Gilbank Building Company for the Will County Courthouse.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to Midwest Environmental Consulting Services for the Will County Courthouse. Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment of Altura Communications Solutions for the Will County Courthouse.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to James D. Smith and Associates for the Will County Courthouse.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is authorizing payment to Night Gas for the Will County Courthouse.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Is there any other new business? Any public comment? Any public comment? Anything? The only thing I have is, for everybody to join us at 11 o'clock on site at the Public Safety Complex for a tour before we hand over the A building. Very exciting. It's a 3-hour tour. Bring your raincoat on. There's no need for executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second, all in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, we are adjourned, 10:05.
Is that right? Is that 1 o'clock?